My name's Ian Wood, and this is a trip down Sheepfoot Lane.
Good afternoon, Ian, and welcome back down Sheepfoot Lane. It's quite a long while since I've seen you.
Well, yeah, it must be.
Funerals, don't I?
It's funerals and more funerals, yes.
yeah. We're not invited to the modern wedding these days, are we?
No, them well gone. It's our grandchildren's weddings.
Yeah, well, there you go.
Yeah.
Ian, who gave you your first contract?
Jimmy McElroy.
Jimmy McElroy.
Jimmy McElroy, yeah.
Yeah, well, that's just like Les.
Yep.
Was Les there when you were there? Or when you come out?
Yeah, we were both amateurs there.
Yes, I know that. Right. Well, do you know what my guess was, Ian? Les McDowell.
Les McDowell.
Yeah.
Don't know. Don't know the guy. No. Yeah. I was an amateur, and the manager was Gordon Hurst at the time.
Yeah.
And then Jimmy McElroy came along with Ken Bates and changed the club around. Jimmy Mac wanted some youth brought into, like a youth team, etc. So he brought some young lads in
from Ireland.
From Ireland as well, yeah. Lots of lads from Ireland, and
yes, it was. And
it's the first time. It's the first time I ever knew about the Troubles when we had lads from the south and lads from the north playing against each other in a five-a-side. And then we got some trouble. You
got your Irish history, did you?
Certainly did, yeah.
Introduction to Northern Ireland and Southern Ireland, was it?
Absolutely, yeah.
Hey, that spilled over. I mean, Eric McGee still lives in Shaw, you know.
No.
Yeah.
Wow.
He went playing for Linfield, but he married a local girl.
Yeah.
Was, a girl called Anne Bispam. Lived opposite me, did his mum, her mum and dad. Well, I'm next door to my mum and dad. So all the Irish lads, and I keep repeating myself in these, they used to babysit for me. Alan Hunter and what have you.
Well, yeah, so I can remember there were Alan Hunter, Ronnie Blair, Ray Smith, McGee. Were there any more? Yeah, I think there was Tony Foster. Yeah, he was.
Billy Johnston.
Yeah, Billy Johnson. Yeah, I was Billy. Have you heard anything from Billy? Because he broke his ankle badly over at Middlesbrough one time.
Yes, but he came back and played on, didn't he, for a short while? But he used to run with a limp because his.
Yeah, it was that bad, wasn't it?
About an inch shorter. It was Dickie Rooks, a tackle from Dickie Rooks up at Middlesbrough.
That's him. Yeah.
Yeah, it was. That turned Oldham out. We went into a downward spiral after that, didn't he? Because he was probably by far our best creative player, wasn't he?
Well, I didn't play a lot with him because I was only a relatively young lad then. But I remember playing. It might have been the return match against Middlesbrough, and I was centre forward at the time, and who was centre half was Billy Rook. So I kept well away from him.
Did you?
I kept well away from him.
Right. I have talked to one or two fans recently, and they don't realise what position you made your debut in at Oldham Athletic.
All right. Right, yeah, centre forward, would you believe?
Thank you very much. They won't believe me, I can tell you that. And I said, well, I will ask him. And but I knew because when I rang you the other week to ask you, would you do this? I just confirmed it. But anyway, I already knew that it was that. I'm just getting my point over to the listeners because a lot of them will be listening. Your 525 appearances.
Yeah, league appearances, yeah.
league appearances, not cup ties.
No, that's just league appearances, that.
Is it?
Yeah.
So, do you know how many cup ties you're playing in?
Not many.
Yeah, well, we usually go out in first and second round, don't we?
I think we got to the 5th round a couple of times. We played Liverpool away, and then I think we played Tottenham at home. But ordinarily, we went out pretty early.
So you can probably stick another 10 or 20 appearances on over a period of 10 years.
Yeah.
Well, 14 years you was at Boundary Park, wasn't you?
Who?
14 years.
14 years, was that? Yeah.
Yeah, well, I asked Matthew this morning just to look you up for me. He said 14 years, and
well,
I don't think that record will ever be broken, will it?
it's
never say never.
Well, the thing was, they played 46 games in the lower leagues.
Yeah.
You know, the 3rd and 4th divisions. So, 46 games, and I think it was ever present for a couple of seasons, and only missed 1 or 2 in the other season. So, I racked a few appearances up pretty quickly.
Yeah, well, you would do. So you play in the same side as Chappie and Groves, didn't you?
Oh, yeah.
Got a picture of him on the day he actually signed him.
Yeah. With a little bit of...
After you, wasn't he?
Yeah, with a little bit of help from me, that. I was so fed up of playing against Alan Groves for Shrewsbury and Bournemouth and the like, because he's such an awkward and fast player. We played Bournemouth down there, and he wasn't happy. And I said, well, you want to come up north and play with Oldham? He says, well, have a word with the manager. So I did.
Did you?
And not long after, Oldham signed him, and I was more than happy because I didn't have to play against him.
Yeah. Well, Les Chapman told us a story. He was.
I want my coffee.
Well, that's all right. Harry Redknapp actually played with him at West at Bournemouth.
Yeah.
And only about 12 months ago, he was talking to Les Chapman. Obviously, because Les was tied up with Manchester City, he came across him, and he said, really, he was one of the best players he ever played with.
Oh, without doubt. Without doubt. He's the hardest player I've ever played against. Really is. He had everything. He had absolutely everything.
Yeah.
Pace, strength, ability.
Yeah, in this modern day and age, he'd have probably gone a lot farther, Ian, don't you think?
Oh, more. Yeah, definitely. He's a good player, no doubt. He was just a bit of a loose cannon, that's all.
I know he declared himself fit once at Charlton, didn't he? And broke down after quite a few minutes, and he got in a bit of bother for that.
Yeah. Well, his best little game for me was when we played Blackburn away, and he was getting to the end of the season. Jim was out scouting somebody, and Bobby Collins was looking after the team, and I was obviously right back and next to the bench, and he was having a bit of a nightmare with Alan. And Bobby Collins comes to me at the side and says, "Tell Alan Groves he's coming off. He's coming off. Get a message to him." So obviously the message got to Alan Groves. He picked the ball up, ran about 40 or 50 yards, beat 3 or 4 players and smacked it in the top corner. And I turned round to Bobby. I said, "Is he still coming off?" So obviously he stayed on, but he had all our team laughing anyway. Let's put it that way.
Well, they will do. I've told people stories about Bobby Collins when we were getting kicked uphill and down Dale. I think we was abroad, wasn't we? And
I know all about that one.
Hey?
I know all about that one.
Yeah. Did he not come running on, Bobby Collins?
No, what it was, right, we were playing this team, and we arrived on the coach, and they were offering us flowers and God knows what to throw to the crowd, which we did, and they're all happy. Anyway, the game didn't go their way. We was winning. I think we was winning 2-0 or something, and I'd scored as well. And this centre half was kicking me up and down Dale. Next thing, Bob comes on. So I don't know who went off. Bob comes on, and they get a corner. And obviously, in them days, centre halves and centre forwards used to mark each other at corners. So Bob says to me, "I'll take him." Well, this guy is about 6'2", and Bob is about 5'1". So a bit of a mismatch. But lo and behold, the ball is just about to be kicked, and this lad squeals and he's like down like a sack of potatoes. And Bobby had put him there, you know. And then the crowd just went mad. They were throwing stones at us. They were throwing stones at the coach as we left.
No flowers.
No flowers, just bricks and stones. And Bobby caused all the trouble. All the trouble. Such a little man. He was a character.
He was some player, wasn't he, in his heyday?
Oh, he was brilliant. I watched him at Bury when he was at Bury. He was a good player.
Yeah.
He really was.
And made his name at Leeds, didn't he?
Well, Leeds and Celtic, yeah.
Yeah, that's right. He was some player. But he was a little hard man, wasn't he?
Oh, hard as nails. Yeah, smart guy as well. I mean, a really smart guy. You know, he used to dress really well. Always smart, Bob.
Yeah. Yeah, so you was obviously part of the Ken Bates revolution.
Yes.
Yes, it was, where we changed the shirt, the colours, didn't we, to blue and tangerine from the old blue.
That's right. Yeah, we did.
Yeah, we did, and we actually had our own team. It was a revolution, wasn't it? Because we was a lower league side, and we had our own team bus, a blue and tangerine bus.
Yeah.
Kitted out with a physio, bedding and everything, and that was when he brought in Jimmy McGregor.
Yeah.
I knew that would bring a laugh to you.
No, well, I mean, fair play to him. You know, he was another character, but he knew his stuff. He was very, very good. He knew his stuff.
It was the first time we'd probably had a proper physio. We used to have a bucket and sponge man, didn't we?
We had Jimmy Kelly.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, there was a famous fallout, wasn't there, with Jimmy Kelly and Ken Bates? And,
well, Jim would just put you under a heat lamp, and that were you. Yeah, was it?
Yeah, well, there you go.
But I mean, Ken Bates came in and he had some brilliant ideas. You know, your own physio, your own team bus. You know, even to the tune of the VIP boxes in the front. I think Oldham was the first.
Across the front.
Yeah, they were the first club in England to have all that sort of hospitality stuff. So, you know, he had some good ideas.
Ahead of his time. And
yeah, I think he was, yeah.
When you look at he lives in Monaco now, you know.
Is he still alive?
Yes, he's about 85, 86, I think. What have you? And I bumped into him a few times when he was over at Leeds, and, you know, he even knew my name. But he'd forgot Bob Richmond's name. He said to me one time over at Leeds, "Is that lawyer still around?"
No, you know, I played.
He actually said of Bob, he said, "I wish he'd work a full day." He said, because he doesn't start till 2 o'clock, but he's the best negotiator I have ever come across. And that was Ken Bates. And because we used to go to Ken Bates' house down in Butterworth for meetings. Oh yeah,
nice down there, yeah.
Yeah, it was. And,
I remember the first away game I ever played. I played my debut against QPR at the end of 65-66 season. And I got an opportunity to play in the team again at Workington away. And a young lad on the team boards, sat on my own, nobody talking to me, etc. Anyway, Ken Bates comes up, sits next to me, and he says, right, Ian, I believe you're playing today. He says, and you know, he says, that centre-half, what you're playing against today, he's got £10 of yours. And I said, £10. He says, yeah, that's your win bonus, £10. And he's got it in his pocket. So I want you to get that for your family. You've got a young family and he's got £10. I went out, I was like a deflating balloon. But what a motivator, you know. I mean, he really sort of wound me up and got me all excited.
Yeah, indeed.
Good man.
I remember coming into the league, Workington, and the manager was Ken Furphy.
Oh,
and
actually, too long ago, that. Too long ago for me, that.
Oh, yeah, it would be. But I bumped into him when I made my debut on Radio Manchester from Torquay when Brian Talbot was the manager. They were stuck, Radio Manchester. You're going to the game, aren't you, Roy? I said, yeah. Well, there's the kit. You can report the game. I thought, great. I've never done anything like it in my life. But the man who helped me that day at Torquay was Ken Furphy, because he was working at BBC down there at that time. Whether or not he finished up as manager of Torquay earlier on in his lifetime, and he stayed down there because it's a nicer part of the world than Workington. Let's have it right, isn't it?
Well, I thought he finished up at Watford, did he not, Ken Furphy?
I think you're right. Yes, you did. Yeah.
Oh, he did.
Yeah, but he might have gone down to, I mean...
Yeah.
Didn't he? But he'd probably dropped down the leagues after that. You never know.
No.
Where did you go, Ian, when you actually finished your 14-year stint at Oldham?
I went to Burnley. I had 2 seasons at Burnley.
Did you? What division were they in then?
Well, they was in the 2nd division and got relegated the year I left Oldham. So they was in the 3rd division, and Brian Miller was the manager.
Oh, yeah.
So I didn't play too many games. You know, I mean, they had a young lad. They had a few good young lads. You know, the likes of Trevor Stephen and Mickey Phelan, and the fullback there, a young fullback called Brian Laws. He was an exceptional player, and I got injured, and Brian came in, and you know, that was football. That's what happened in football. You know, you got an opportunity and you took it, and so I basically spent most of the time either on the bench or in the reserves.
Was that it then?
No, I went to America, didn't I?
Oh yeah.
I was playing over in America in summer with San Jose Earthquakes. I had a couple of summers with them, and then I finished up my career as professional at Wichita, playing the indoor league. I had a season playing indoor league, and then I came back, and that was that. Played a few games for Radcliffe Borough and stuff like that, but yeah, that was that.
Yeah, well, that's it. I mean, Chappie devoted his whole life to football, didn't he?
Oh, he did well. He did well.
You know, as a coach, a manager, and kit man for Manchester City, what have you. 17 years, as he told us last week. So
long time.
And you went into plumbing and heating.
Yeah, I mean, before I signed professional, I'd done a couple of years with a company in Prestwich. Brian Berris was a good heating company, and so I served part of my time full time with them. And then when I signed pro, I used to work in summers on sites and stuff like that. So I had a bit of a background on heating. So it was a bit of a heating boom.
Yeah, it was.
Early.
I remember Jimmy Frizzle saying to me about you maybe going to play in America. He says, it's a damn sight better than him clambering onto roofs. He said, without a cart ladder, sorting out chimney stacks. Pointing chimney stacks.
I've never done that.
Hey?
I've never done that.
Well, that's as he put it, I'll tell you. He growled it to me. Well, there you go. I always remember him saying that, but he'd be exaggerating, wouldn't he? Because it didn't suit.
He had a way of motivating players. He used to go around the dressing room and tell them what they're capable of. You haven't got a trade. You haven't got a trade. You haven't got a trade. You'll do this. You'll do that. And he came to David Holt. Dave, who was a close friend of mine, we finished up really good pals. He lived in Bury, Dave. And he says to Dave, "Oh, you'll be all right." Well, Dave used to collect waste paper.
Yeah.
And computer paper, and then went into plastics and made himself a millionaire once or twice over. So when he got to Dave, he says, "Oh, you'll be all right." And the rest of the players were like, "Well, you'll be on the scrap heap," sort of thing, if you don't pull your fingers out. So another motivational comment.
Well, Jimmy did have a trade, didn't he? He worked in the shipyards, didn't he? Was it Govan? Was it somewhere up there?
Granite Morton. Granite.
Yeah.
Yeah, the football team, Granite Morton. Well, they're under the Clyde. I think he worked in the shipyards there. Yeah,
he did, because he knew the names of all the major ships, because I can actually remember in the Falklands, I think they hit one called the Sheffield, and he were absolutely raging about that. Was Jimmy. Yeah. Growling, because he did used to growl, didn't he? And
a bit.
24 years at Boundary Park, Jimmy.
Was he?
Yeah. Well, 12 as a player, 12 as a manager. It's about 24. And then Joe Royal matched him with his 12 as a manager. But Jim had that 24 years as a player. I was actually looking at some Boundary bulletins last year. And there he is, playing in nearly every different position in the Ken Bates era.
Yeah.
In the bulletin, because I always remember Colin Whittaker coming from Rochdale in the Bobby Johnston days. Rochdale's best player it was. And the man they left out that night was Jimmy Frizzle. They moved Johnny Colloon inside.
Yeah, John Colloon.
And everybody thought that was the end of Jimmy Frizzle. But it wasn't, because he fought his way back, dropped out of the promotion side. But after that, he was back and played Ken Bates and then became the manager. So it was quite, I think he had a quite spell under Jack Rowley, because Jack Rowley came back for a very short time.
Nightmare.
Pardon?
He was a nightmare.
Who?
Jack Rowler. Yeah.
Well, he had a lot of success at the start, because he signed a lot of City players and a lot of, the directors did, and they brought Bobby Johnston in, and that made Jack Rowley. Yeah. Then they fired him after he got him promotion.
Yeah. Well, players do make managers, don't they? If it works out, they do make managers.
Yeah.
But Jim took over, and he was a good man manager. You could talk to Jim, and you could talk to him. He'd listen to you, to a certain extent. But as long as you give 100% with Jim, you're always on his good side.
Yeah, well, you had I mean, obviously, we got promotion under Jimmy Frizzle, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. Yeah,
Yeah.
got out of fourth division, and then we won the championship.
Yeah,
Years later.
and you went to Rhodesia. Did you go to Rhodesia with Ken Bates?
I did, yeah.
I got a picture of you with
Yeah.
Ken Bates, Eric McGee and all them, and some of the Irish boys, and Ronnie Blair.
Yeah, it was good. Yeah, it was good.
I still see Ronnie now and again.
Yeah. I mean, I've seen Ronnie at B&Q 2 or 3 years ago, but he was buying a load of plants with Hillary.
Was he?
Yeah.
He's semi-retired now. Well,
I would imagine.
Retired, but apparently he goes in and causes havoc every morning for the first couple of hours.
I would imagine, yeah.
Been very successful.
He never suffered fools easily, Ronnie.
No, he didn't. I actually picked up on him. I hadn't seen him for a while at Jimmy McElroy's funeral.
Oh, yeah.
I went to that and with Alan Hardy, and that's my life now. I'm the official funeral ambassador at Boundary Park because nobody knows anybody of the old players.
Well, I mean, I wanted to go to that, but unfortunately I was away. I was in Ireland. I go to Ireland quite a lot nowadays, yeah. So I was over there and missed that one.
You're fully retired now, aren't you?
Oh, yeah. I am.
You know, just away from football, I remember my eating packing up once on Boxing Day after you'd finished playing, and a friend of mine said, "It's your pump," and I rang you up, and you came out to your place at Pillsworth, sold me a pump, and I was running again by dinner time.
Can't remember that one, Roy.
Fun.
I can't remember that one.
No, well, I tell you what, you did that for me, and you know, I got up about 9 o'clock, and no eating on. Got my mate down. He said, "It's your pump. Where do you get a pump today?" And I rang you, and it came, and it fitted in with my famous motto: "Never go through the front door if the back door is open." But there you go. Yeah, well, you definitely did that. Because you was weren't you?
I've been used to somebody then, haven't I?
Well, you was not used to Oldham Athletic. I mean, 14 years at one club is a long while. Yeah. 14 months now, you're struggling, aren't you?
Well, if I didn't play as much golf, I'd probably go down to the games. I play golf every Saturday, you know, so that ties most of the day up. No, I play at Stand in Whitefield.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Right. You're still living in Bury, aren't you?
I do, yeah. I live in Bury, yeah.
Yeah, well, I always remember, along with Bob Richmond and a lad called Peter Bradley, did a testimonial.
Yeah.
Yeah, we used to have the Oldham Conservative Club on Union Street.
Is that where we were?
That's where we were. Yeah, but we had the Irish boys, promotion under Frizzle, Rhodesia with Ken Bates. I mean, Jimmy McElroy was one heck of a player as well, wasn't he?
He was. I
mean, you came to him really when his career was over, really, wasn't it? When he was playing under Ken Bates, came from Stoke.
Yeah. Well, I remember playing one game. I think it was Southend away, and we needed a point. And it was nil apiece. And Jimmy, he was a great shielder of the ball. You know, once he got the ball around his feet, you couldn't get it off him. So
he kind of leaned over it, didn't he?
Oh yeah, 5 minutes to go, and it's nil apiece, and they were putting us under pressure. And he just wanted the ball. You give him the ball, and it'd be a minute. You know, people trying to tackle him, bump him, do whatever. You know, go out for a throw in, you throw it to him again, and he'd keep the ball. He must have had that ball in that corner for 4 or 5 minutes. And fortunately, the ref blew, and it was the point what kept us up. I don't know what year it was, but apparently it kept us up. So, well, he was some player. He really was.
Yeah, he was. I mean,
the problem with Jimmy, in his managerial career is that he couldn't understand why other players could not do things what he could. You know, he just had natural ability, and he couldn't understand why players didn't have the same ability.
No,
and do the same things.
John Sheridan's very much like that. You know, he can't believe that people can't pass the ball to a blue shirt. Sitting right up in the back of the main stand, with John. And I've told him a time or two, and he once challenged me on it. He has this habit when you see somebody do something. He says, football's a simple game. You just get, like this guy at City now, you win the ball, you pass the ball, and that's it. Yeah. And you don't give it away. And John Sheridan always said, I like that player because he takes care of the ball. But when he stood on the touchline and somebody gave the ball away, his right hand used to come up and scratch the top of his head. And he still does it to this day, does John. And I know he once said to me, obviously his wife were listening to me and Big Gordon doing commentary. And I popped this out a couple of times, like, he's unhappy with that, he's scratching his head. He said, what's all this about me scratching my head? But I got on all right with Chen. But he was like that, he couldn't understand.
Yeah,
being able to do. I mean, when you get a great player, a great ex-player coming to a club, you need 1 or 2 other players in the side who have at least the sort of knowledge to know where he's going to put the ball, don't you?
Well, I mean, my debut against Queen's Park Rangers, the team, Oldham team, had the likes of Bill Asprey in it. You know, he played in the first division for donkey's years. Denny Stevens, Albert Quicksall, Ian Towers, people like that. I mean, they were very, very talented players, but if you can't run, your legs start giving way, this, that, and the other, you get overpowered. There's nothing you can do. No. Absolutely. There's nothing you can do. I remember Albert Quicksall. This is a sideshow on this one. We're talking about walking down Sheepfoot Lane, and anyway, we was walking up from the car park, Albert Quicksall in his Zephyr Zodiac, Ford Zephyr Zodiac, big shiny car, and I had my A45, Austin A45 battered old thing, the floor falling out, and anyway, walking up, and we were just chatting, and he says to me, do you know what, Ian? He says, I'd give £5,000 to anybody who could take me back to where I was 4 years ago. Well, obviously, he was the golden boy of football, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was.
All at United. He was I think United paid a record fee of $45,000 for him.
From Sheffield Wednesday.
Sheffield Wednesday. Was it? Yeah. Anyway, that's what he says to me, and there's me walking up, thinking this is the best thing. It's a fantastic ground. It's it's a professional ground, and this that. I've never been on basically a professional football field, and he's saying, I wish I was back at Old Trafford, 4 or 5 years ago. So he didn't think a lot about it, did he?
No. I remember him saying to Ken Bates, get me some players and I'll get you promotion. Well, he got the players and shifted Quicksall.
Yeah.
He certainly did. I always remember him doing that. And so you'd be around for the famous Captain Nemo, wouldn't you? The Doberman. The dog. The watchdog that Ken Bates brought in, as well as a physio on a team bus. There was a Doberman. Can you not remember that?
No.
Bernard Alley, the groundsman.
Bernard Alley, yeah, I do.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, he had a dog. Yeah, I didn't know it was Bates.
That was the club's dog.
Was it?
It used to be loose in the ground at night. And yeah, they had this dog, and I know they used to let it out. And some of the press lads stayed behind one night on the phones to do the work. And somebody let it out, and they saw it padding along. And one of them dived over into the director's box and got out of the stand, and it held the others back. You know, it was something else, Captain Nemo. I had a lot to put behind his name, did Ken Bates. He really was ahead of his time. And sometimes you speak to people and you said, Ken Bates, they'll say, oh, no, he made his name at Chelsea. I said, no, started at Oldham Athletic. And he was Burnley based, was Ken Bates. He owned Howarth Construction at Burnley. I think that's what it was. And I know he took a big advertisement out in the Burnley Express and Star when they signed Jimmy McElroy. Come and see that old Mac Magic, it said, this advert. And Bob Lloyd went absolutely berserk. He really did. He weren't happy with that. Like, you know, but, how many goals did you score at Oldham Athletic? Do you know that one?
Yeah. I think he scored 27 league goals.
Yeah.
3 FA Cup goals.
Yeah.
And 1 League Cup goal.
Yeah, but I think what we need to qualify is that you weren't centre forward for all the 550 appearances, 25 appearances, was you? You was moved to fullback.
Yeah.
Was that early on in your career or later?
Well, it was Jimmy McElroy's right hand man. He was called, Bertie somebody or other.
Yeah, I can't remember him.
And yeah, he was his coach, and he says, I think you should go play halfback. Weren't midfield, and it was a halfback. He said, because you seem to score most of your goals coming from a deeper position. So that's when I went to halfback. Well, that got me involved in tackling and this, that, and the other. So there was a game. I think it was a Northern Floodlit game. It was a league what we used to play in, and Bill Asprey was the fullback in them days. Anyway, he must have got a slight injury, so Jimmy might put me at right back, and I seemed to, play in that position pretty well. So obviously that's where I stayed and played most of my games there.
Yeah, you would do. It's
yeah.
I can remember at York when you damaged your shoulder.
Yeah, dislocated my shoulder. Yeah.
Yeah, and what wasn't the club doctor an orthopaedic surgeon who more or less stood on your shoulder and put it back in?
That was Jim McGregor. That was Jim McGregor.
Was it?
Yeah.
Well, Jimmy.
Well, Jimmy put that back in, yeah.
Did he?
He did. He did. Yeah. And it was very painful, I can tell you.
Well, no, sorry, I forget. I always thought the story was that their club doctor did it, but obviously
no.
That. But it was Jimmy McGregor, was it?
Yeah.
Did you have to finish up having an operation on that, or did it stay in?
Well, I was, again, very lucky that I signed to play in summer at Denver in the American League, along with Andy Lockhead, who was Ian Robbins, and Graham Bell. The 4 of us went over there. And there was a fellow called Ken Bracewell who was the manager, a lad from Burnley. Anyway, I got over there and got a bit of treatment on it, and then decided I could play. So I played this one particular game. Shoulder came out again. So I was sent to hospital and it was put back in. But the surgeon there was a guy called Gamble, Dr. Gamble. But he was the orthopedic surgeon for the US Olympic skiing team. So, with it being in Denver, that's where there's obviously a lot of skiing and God knows what went on there, all the snow sports. So he pretty much knew what he was doing. So I got permission off Oldham, or he did, and he did the operation, put a 2-inch screw in underneath my arm, kept my shoulder in, and it's never troubled me since. No. So I'm very, very fortunate that the actual operation went well, treatments afterwards went well, and I came back and did my pre-season training and never missed again. So I was very, very, very fortunate there.
If I'm right, did they have a system when you say you twisted your ankle? They used to stick it in ice for quite a few hours, didn't you? That's
it. That still applies, I think.
Yeah.
If you go over on your ankle.
It wasn't a thing in England in those days, was it? It was more. I know when you came back.
It was American. It was the American idea of stopping swelling.
You played pretty quick after you'd done it, didn't you?
Yeah.
I know I'm right about that. I was wrong about the York doctor, but I was right about that one. So I remember you telling me when you came back what had happened to you over there.
Yeah, well, you put your foot in a bucket of ice for 10 minutes, you'll know about
it. Dear me. A lot of footballers now drop themselves in wheelie bins after a game,
Yeah, I believe so.
Water. And dear me, I couldn't get in a wheelie bin, let alone and what have you. But that is another thing that they do now, where they don't have really communal baths anymore. It's like a big wet room, but they do have their own personal wheelie bin. Got themselves in it.
Would it be a grey bin or a red bin or a blue bin?
No. All of them have the paper bins, are the pale blue ones.
Would it get empty every 3 weeks?
That's another thing. But I think I've crossed everything off I wanted to ask you. What have you? I know I've proved my point with a lot of people that you was a centre forward when you joined the club, and we converted you via an half-back. I didn't realise that. But there'd be some stiff competition there at half-back because they moved Ken Knighton, didn't they, Jimmy McElroy, from a full-back to half-back.
Yeah.
Because of his pace, and he used to drive forward, didn't he, from midfield?
Well, yeah, he was another smart lad, was Ken. I remember my debut in the FA Cup was against Wolves at home, and Ken Knighton was a former Wolves player, and he was playing left, and I was sub. And 5 minutes, he gets walloped and carried off. So next thing, I'm on, and we got 2 up. We were 2-0 up, and we were 2-0 up with 90 minutes. I remember Dennis Stevens giving the ball away, and they broke away and they scored. So the next couple of minutes was again rather hectic, and we give the ball away again, and they scored. They equalised in about the 92nd and 93rd minute, which was basically unheard of in them days. And then unfortunately we went down to Wolves for the replay and lost. I think it was 4-1. So that was our great opportunity to be, giant killer, as they said. But
can't quite remember his name, but they had a midfield player that was something else, didn't they?
Well, they had a lad called Ernie Hunt played for them, and Ron Flowers was playing centre half, and then they had a young lad, Tony Knowles. Now, you might not know who Tony Knowles was, but he was a brother of Cyril Knowles, who used to play for them.
That's right, the Tottenham player. Well, Knowles sat on the ball in one of them games, didn't he?
Well, I know. And,
yeah, he did.
I know Jim Frizzle could have got him then. He would have kicked him right over Timbuktu, I can tell you.
Yeah.
He wasn't happy about that, weren't Jim? Yeah, but that's Peter Knowles. He left football and became one of these Christian Science believers, you know. So
yes, he did.
He left football.
Yeah, but in those days he was quite a cocky young lad, wasn't he?
He was a talented player. He really was talented, but sitting on the ball wasn't. You know, it was very, very disrespectful. So. I think if Jim would have got him there, either Jim or Alan Lawson or somebody like that.
Alan Lawson. Well, we talked about Alan Lawson last week with Les Chapman, and Chappie said that he was the hardest player he had ever played with.
Yeah, I think he's about right there. I was always glad when he was on my five-side team anyway.
Yeah, it was something else. A legend and what have you.
Legend is right, yeah.
We talked about Jim Williams from the Chronicle. And
Jim, yeah.
Yeah, well, he passed away 2 years ago. About might not have been 2 years ago. And what have you. Out on a walk and just passed away. He became editor of the Oldham Chronicle, Jim Williams.
Yeah. He used to smoke a lot, though, didn't he, Jim?
And drink. He used to have a pint too as well. Yeah. He was a character.
Yeah.
And I know I came back from one game at York with him. I travelled with him to York with the sports editor, and we're coming back. And I had a feeling it was the year we got promotion. Don't know. But it was York, and I think York, and we coming back, and at 11 o'clock at night, I got in a phone box to tell my wife where I was. Do you know where I was? Tadcaster.
Tadcaster?
Yeah.
Obviously you turned left instead of right, did you?
No. We called in a few hostelries on the way. But the sports editor was riding that night and what have you. And the game was full of characters, wasn't it? Both journalists and players.
Yeah, well, Jim helped me on the testimonial, you know. I mean, along with yourself and Pete Bradley and Bob and Jimmy. Very grateful. Always been grateful for that.
Oh, yeah. He was a good lad, Jim. He really was.
Yeah. He was. You ever hear of Stuart Beckett?
Yes, Stuart. I've got a call booked in for him. I do bits and pieces for Latics, and Stuart's designed a couple of covers for me.
Yeah.
At the moment, Stuart he does an awful lot for Manchester United Ex-Players Association. He runs all annual dinners, produces the calendars every year. He's 70 odd now, Stuart. And
well, we're all 70 odd, aren't we? We're all 70 odd now.
Yeah, well, I'm a bit farther on than you. But,
you'll have to text me his number, and I'll give him a ring, a surprise ring.
I'll see his number.
We were good mates. I used to leave him tickets on every away grant for him.
Yeah. He did an awful lot, you know. In the Harry Wild days, he more or less, and the Joe Royal days, because he brought that book out, Team Amongst the Chimneys.
Yeah.
And you know, absolutely brilliant. He's written quite a few football books and what have you.
Yeah.
A very, very talented guy. Proper commercial artist he was Stuart, but with a passion for football and, surprisingly enough, Oldham Athletic.
Yeah. Oh, well, you know, he used to go down to King Street and King Street West, I think it was. His offices were up there, and well, he produced the testimonial programme, didn't he?
Yes, he did.
So,
yeah, I were all right with Stuart.
He was good. So you'll have to text me his number.
I'll do that after. And we'll
okay, thank you.
Ian, thank you ever so much.
Okay, right.
All right, bye-bye.
Yeah, thank you. Bye. Take care, everybody.